Awards and Conclave. Moving on to the last panel discussion for the day, Degrees Without Borders. And to take this conversation forward, may I please invite on stage Ms. Arshita Kapoor, Career Counsellor, Jayshree, Periwal International School. Could I please request Ms. Naghma K. Khan, Head of College Advisory, DPS International, to also join us on the stage, and Yashaushwani Bakshi, Psychologist, Career Counsellor and Special Educator, to also come up and join us on the stage. This session is going to be moderated by Ms. Priya Sehgal, Editorial Director, NewsX. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you. We are really at the last session of our first conclave, First in Class, where we are taking a holistic look at the education from the primary, nursery to really the university level. And in fact, today's panel, I have with me career counselors, college counselors who are ready to, help our children, support our children in finding out the new age careers. Because today it's not just lawyer, doctor, scientist. There are so many careers that are open to us. So many colleges also, because a lot of students are going abroad. And as you know, that is not easy, because that is a whole new level of education in itself while just applying to the courses. And what are the courses that are available? So I think today's session is really one of the most important sessions today, and I welcome you all for coming here. Arshita, I'll begin with you first. Take up from where I left off. What are the careers open today for the kids today, and what are the kids really wanting to, opting out for?
So I think every day there's something new that comes up. So, the latest we've been hearing is, of course, a lot into, AI, and there's a lot of like cybersecurity. There's something called ethical hacking. So there's lots of interesting things that are coming up, and I think sometimes it's hard to keep track of what next, but I think we as counselors also need to be lifelong learners. We learn every day from our kids as well. They're telling us new things that they could potentially do. But I think a big change here is that nothing is looked down upon, and that is very important. Everything is looked at very kindly by parents now. Some parents now, I would like to say, and by students for sure. And the good thing here is that a lot of the universities that are coming up now in India, we know that we have about 15 to 17 new universities that have international collaborations are starting out, and all of those will offer a lot of interesting courses to our students. So the need and want to go out will decrease. And I think that's something that connects very well to what we were hearing earlier, that we need to stop the brain drain.
Correct. In fact, what are the options is something I'll ask you later. But Naghma, what are the favorite destinations? And also, with all the turmoil in the US, is US no longer a favorite destination? If not, then where do children want to go?
Okay, so as they say, the world has become their oyster. So what has happened is, though US is still a lot of applications we do to US, Europe has opened, Southeast Asia has opened, Australia has been there, and all of these countries we are applying these days the applications, and we are learning with students, but these are some of the destinations that we have seen emerged really at the top. So apart from US, yes, Europe, different, Ireland is there, Netherlands is there, so many of them, and then with that Australia and Southeast Asia.
Also the new age destination. But in terms of courses and in terms of, what kind of advice do you give the kids, and what are the options that kids really want to go for?
So,
go ahead. But you can take it. Both of you can.
So, as far as the advice is concerned for moving out when they're exploring foreign options, I think one of the core questions, or the first question that I ask my the children who come to me, why do you want to go out? I think that is one of the most important questions. Is it coming from motivation? Is it coming from some inspiration? Or is it coming from influence? We need to determine the difference between the three. So, because most of the time when I ask why, the answers surround around because they think that going out is a measure of success, which is not true. Especially with the new NEP coming in, we have the internationalization happening, the collaborations happening. I think it's more about bridging the gap, identifying the right fit for the child, and that will help us to determine what options are open here or there. And it's not even about here or there anymore. It's about blending that gap, that what fits the child right.
Arshita, is there a lot of emphasis on the academics? Because we know the new education policy is now, saying that give equal heft to vocational skills. But in terms of college applications, is there, for instance, in the US, the college essay is like a big deal. Is that a big deal elsewhere also? Or is there, some sort of can you give us a rough guide?
It actually depends on the kind of country that you're applying to. Academics has always been important and does remain the large chunk of the application. But now all the new age universities, like we have Ashoka, Kriya, Jindal, all of these that have opened up that are liberal art colleges, all of those do require essays as well. They are a holistic application process. So they all require a very US style application where you're not just looking at the academics of the child, but the child as a whole. So the application is actually every part of what you've done in the last 4 years. It could be academics, it could be, you could be good at sports, you could be dancing, you could be a writer. So everything becomes important. So it is starting to turn a little bit. It's not like Delhi University where you need to have 100% to get into college. We don't need to do that anymore.
How do you get 100% in a liberal subject?
Yeah, so thankfully we don't have to do that anymore.
Okay, that is a relief. But Naghma, at what age should the child start preparing for college? From class 9? Because I've seen kids, they're not even enjoying the summer holidays. They want to do an internship. They want to go to summer school. So is this pressure going to ease up anytime?
So this is one of the most trickiest questions that you asked me. To be very honest, rather than preparation, it is also about being aware. So how aware is a child at different stages? And when they become aware, there's a direction that they are able to see, and accordingly a plan emerges. So when the plan involves them to be focused from a younger age, they are able to do it, right? So it's a very tricky question that from what age, but what as schools we do is we make them aware. So when we make them aware, they themselves start having meaningful conversation that leads to planning. And when planning is done, usually in high school, they're very actively involved in the preparation of their higher education journey.
But I'm saying there is that whole pressure of, what will I write for my essay? I have to find a meaningful experience. So for that meaningful experience, they will, or the parents will pressurize them more, to do something extra or to do, which is also good, get involved in some charitable organization, find a hobby. And how important is it to excel at everything? You can just say, I like football, golf, basketball, or do you have to say, no, find one topic of interest and excel in that? Or should you have a diverse portfolio?
I think as counselors, it's very important that we differentiate between occupations and career.
Okay.
At most of the time, we emphasize on educating or spreading awareness about occupations. Sure, we have our own deadlines and limited time to address all these things. But thanks to CBSE, that now career counselors are mandatory in the schools. But coming back to the question, it is important that we help children in understanding that career is a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong trajectory, and we have to learn the skills. Your field, you can, come down on the field, but careers, the different occupations, you can always switch on that. But the skill set is very, very important that you start learning. And that happens from very young, like class 5, 6 onwards. You start to find your niche that, okay, this is what I'm attracted towards. This is what, I need to gather more information about.
Arshita, in terms of, today, so given the fact that skill sets are important, then is degree losing its relevance, or that degree is also very important?
I think the degree is very, very important, and there's no taking away from that, because as more and more people are getting educated, the importance of that degree and the importance of being educated it's coming out more. Earlier, you could only run with a skill set, and we could have people running big firms as just, 12th pass, and you're running a big firm because, it's owned by my father. But now those people are also trying to get a degree to be able to at least stand their ground in a board meeting, right? So degrees are important. They will remain important. I do think that now colleges have changed the way they teach as well. So teaching and learning has evolved over time. So what we did a few years back, I would like to say, at university is very different from what kids are doing now. It's more experiential. It's very flexible. You don't have to study mathematics if you don't want to. You can choose what you want to do and you can mix it up and you can make it interesting. So I think degrees have become more accessible. They've become more fun, and the importance is going to remain.
But what is the impact on the kids? We've talked about peer pressure, but there is this whole college pressure that, how does that play on the child's psyche? We never we did have it, but that pressure was never so intense.
So you are right. A lot of times we see how curiosity is sometimes covered by fear. And that happens when around them, they are looking at students and friends aiming for something, and they themselves are not very sure of things. And again, that is, we have become very aware of this. I think as schools, we are conscious of how every student has got their own individual journey. And I think all schools and most of us are trying to have a program at place where we are individualizing this, the intervention, the counseling that we are doing with them. And when we have a program, when we are talking to them, when we are talking regular talks with them, we are able to, again, I'm going back to say that we are making them aware. And then the whole thing of nothing to be scared of, because if others are so sure that this is what I'm going to do and you are not, that is also okay. So the moment we start doing that, those conversations, I think students, they do respond and they are at a better place.
Do you want to come in on the pressure the children face?
I think it's also about, usually in 10th or 11th, that is when the psychometrics come into picture, when parents, and they also question that how can one test, tell you about what my child is good at. But there we need to be more prepared in answering them that it's not just about that one test we're looking at. We're also seeing the anecdotal records from different teachers, the feedbacks that are there regarding the children. And that is running since years, which helps us to, finally tell us or conclude that, okay, your child is good in these particular areas, but yet the finalization is still the ball is in their court and they have a long way to decide it. It's not that they have to decide everything then and there.
Fair enough. My last question to all of you, at what age should kids start thinking about college and preparing for college?
I wish I could say that they should not start thinking before class 9, but I have parents who come to me in class 5 and 6 asking me if it's the right time to start streamlining their child's interest area and what they should be doing. So there isn't really a right time. Start as soon as possible because it's getting tough out there. But also, I feel like something that parents need to know is that it's okay for your child to love doing one thing. Stop trying to make that path for them where you have to design each and every step that they take. So just let your child be and let them enjoy what they're doing, and that makes a unique application and that gets you into college.
Good advice. Naghma?
So I agree with Arshita to a large extent. As counselors, we feel let them start as early as possible. But every child's journey is going to be different. I feel as long as they are engaged with us. So when the families and students, they are engaged with us, their plans and their path are carved in a more meaningful way, and that in a way make them start preparing earlier than usually they do, and that really helps us in multiple ways.
When it comes to preparation and when we are exploring the likes and dislikes of the student, that can start as early as grade 6 and 7. But I think along with this, what is more important is that it's not just guiding the students about exploring, but also parents that they should not, because a lot of times it happens that grade 8 onwards, parents come and say that we want to put our child, into coachings. Because they have made a mindset that they want to send their child into something. So they will put the child into those kinds of coachings and institutes without realizing what the child really is capable of doing or what they want to do. So guiding children as to how to explore their career paths or their likes and dislikes can start as early as grade 6. But along with that, parent orientations are also very, very important so that both of them are at the same page. Otherwise, in grade 10, 11, we get to hear that I want to do this, but my parents are not agreeing to it. My parents have a different picture in their mind. So it's both sides, and it's a teamwork.
Thank you so much for this session, and also for a wonderful conclave today that we had. I think we explored all angles with all the stakeholders, parents, children, the politicians, the policymakers. It's been a wonderful start to a great initiative, but thank you so much for coming here today. Thank you.
So that was our finale session. Thank you all to the participants, and thank you to Priya as well for moderating that. And with that, of course, we come to the end of today's program. But before I end, I would once again like to thank those without whom today's event wouldn't have been possible. Presenting sponsor for First in Class Conclave and Awards 2026, Bhutani Infra. Event partner, Foodie. So thank you, Bhutani Infra and Foodie, once again, the partners for today. And with that, as we said, we may come to the end of today's event, but this is the start of a new dedicated platform. This is the start of a new ecosystem for the education community, the education sector in the country. So watch out for many more events, watch out for many more special TV shows, watch out for many more articles, and watch out for that special quiz as well. Goodbye to our audience. Thank you so much for all those watching live here in Delhi and online and on our channel as well. Goodbye.